When I'm working with finished sheets of sheet goods here, I put a full 4x8 sheet of cardboard down on my work surface to avoid scratching this in any way. You got to treat these sheets as gold once they come in. In fact, when I go to the lumber yard and get them, I bring sheets of cardboard with me and I sandwich them in between each as I stack them on top of the little mule. You got to be sure you got a nice clean board. Let's see how this looks. Okay, oh, there's a scratch. Okay, so for my wall panels, the scratch has to go on the inside. Flip the board and we'll work on top. Here's how this is going to work now. This worked out very well in terms of efficiency and not wasting material. I can get each of these panels out of this piece. Very good. Now don't forget, when you get one like this, then you got to go like that if you want the same sheet facing out. Opposing grain, not matching grain, opposing grain. Before I lay this down on my beautiful plywood, I take a tacky cloth. I covered this in previous videos, but I make sure that my track saw is clean as can be. Then I have no problems with it. Try not to drag anything on your work surface. Now, remember what I said in the earlier video. This is going to be my good side, okay? So I put my ruler or my cutting edge on the good side. Where's my mark? There it is. So that's going to dictate which way this track goes. So we're going to be cutting this way. Now, these tracks are very good at staying where you put them. But of course, because I wear a belt and suspenders, I will grab a couple of bar clamps. Now, these are cheap bar clamps that I bought at Harbor Freight, and I do not recommend them. They have not lasted 1 year. I've already started to throw them out. I bought a pretty extensive set of them, and one by one they started to fail. So you want to buy the best or Bessie. That's what I've been switching over to, Bessie. I put these clamps on the back side of my track. I don't put a lot of pressure on because it'll lift the track off my cutting edge, and that'll give me an inaccuracy. I just give it enough pressure so it helps the sticky tracks stay where they belong. It keeps everybody honest. And then I double check. There's my mark. My marks are so delicate, I can barely see them. This is my full cut. Right, now we're going to cut the wheel well. We're going to notch for the sprinter. But you got to take a look at each side. These are pre-finished on both sides. I do that because my leftover will be used for drawer boxes. You need double-sided pre-finish for that. We don't necessarily need double-sided pre-finish for these wall boards in the back. But this is where it comes in handy. From getting these to the lumber yard to my shop, I got a scratch. I can't use that side. Now, what if that was in the single pre-finished side? I'd have ruined that whole section of the board. So, options. I marked that scratch side, and now I have an option. And both sides on this board look good. There's one little depression there. So we're going to make this the back of the board. Good eye. Good eye. And I'm marking it so that as I handle them and move through my template cuts, I don't make a mistake. And I generally put the label where the blemish or the scratch is. And that way I can reassure myself. It's all about redundancy. You want to find a good corner to start with. I got a little blowout here. So I'm going to make sure that that blowout is going to disappear when I cut my wheel well. So now I've got good edges, top and bottom. I got a nice corner. So this is ready. Now here's another thing I'll do. As I did with the template, where's my template? I'll show you that. This is the template for the Sprinter. And what I did is I labeled it top and I labeled it Sprinter. Now all the templates that I'm making this week and last week for both the ProMaster and the Sprinter, of course I'm going to save them. And I will actually start using those in my, here's another little tip. I was just about to put the tape down and then write on the tape. It could bleed through and stain your pre-finish. You got to be very careful. You got to treat this stuff like gold. So I always write on the tape roll. Let it evaporate, let it air dry a little bit. And then I put it up there like that. That's the top of the board. So now I'm ready to lay my template in, trace it out. This is a very important part. If you remember, this template had an angle cut on the back side. So it's very important that we leave the space for that. The other thing you do is when you get this lined up the way you want it, you should have a few clamps to hold it in place. And I will tell you this, I'm a fan of this medium-sized clamp as compared to the small ones. I think the small ones have too much pinch pressure and they could hurt our wood. But anyway, we're going to go to 0 up there, like that. Put a clamp on it. Come down here, get that baby locked on. Get a nice, it fits perfect. It's exactly how it should be. A little bit of, just like that. Okay. One more here for good measure. And remember, this is the top side. So now this particular board I'm working on is the driver's side. It's the same side that you've been watching me build the templates for. When I do the other side, I'll have to flip this template to do the passenger side. Okay? So now this is going to be, normally for your videos, I would do all of this line work with a Sharpie so you could see it. Easier to see on camera. But right now, because this is a real cut I'm doing, I'm going to use a pencil. Because it's a little bit sharper cut for me. I could be more precise. And now this leading edge is very important because you're going to be looking at it all the time. So I'm going to lay my straight edge right on top here, like that. And then I'm going to make my pencil line using that straight edge as well. Now I'm guaranteed a nice, crisp, straight cut. Now, as I said earlier, I'm not good at doing this myself, but this is going to get cut out, this little piece. So you put an X on it, put an X in there. Here's my wheel well. So I X it all around. So when I get in here with my jigsaw, I make a mistake, I won't make a mistake. This is ready to cut. Now what I'm going to do, this is the back side. I'm going to flip this board over, okay? And I'm going to flip this over. And when I get to this, I'm going to double check my positioning. But now this is ready to be cut. Okay, now we got our wheel well cut. I got my little black support hinge cut. Now that last corner in the rear of the Sprinter is on an angle. I'm not making this cut with a jigsaw. I'm going to make this cut with my track saw on the table. So let's take this over there. So before I bring that finished material over and put it in my track table here, I'm going to put a little clean, fresh craft paper on the table to protect. I feel like I'm in a deli selling bologna. To protect my my beautiful piece of wood. Who knows what's on this table, right? You want to keep things clean. Where's my knife? Oh, the dust in here. It gets me. Okay. So now you will come right over here and you're covering my surface. You don't want to use that cardboard. It's too thick. You want to just use enough craft paper to get the job done. Yeah, excuse me. Now, the support roller I have in the back also needs some protection. Just go hold the back end of my material off the end of the table. Now, let's be sure we're putting the right end in. Okay, easy, buddy. Don't scrape. Now here, we got to use our stops. That's good right there. Now I come up here with my saw, 1/2 inch, and I'm ready to go. Now that taper, that's a nice clean edge, right? Now let's go put that in and see how it looks. And rather than pull that material all the way through this again, I'm gonna take it out the back. Treat it like gold. Let's see, how's this baby gonna fit? That's good. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. If we wanted to take this a step further, what I would do is I would cut this edge on a 45-degree angle or 60-degree angle so that I could push it further into this piece. But I'll put some sort of a little band on there. And my floor, I'm happy with that. That's a really nice tight fit. I'm a little wide down here. I'm a little wide, but as I said, I'll be covering it. So cosmetically, it's okay. And I'm not gonna go through another piece of material just to bring that in tighter. That would be crazy. 1, 2, 3/8. 3/8 down here. Oof. Serves me right. 4x8 sheet, 4x8 table. You should have known better, George. Oh, great, take 2. First one wasn't so great. My mics are still connected. Oh, that's amazing. This is the last cut on the table. Okay, running it out. Here we go. Still recording, and I didn't lose my mic. Impressive. I moved my mic from the back pocket to the front pocket because 3 times during shooting, I disconnected the mic line. And what you want to do is keep this piece as low as possible, as folded up as possible. And then from the back side, you can make a very accurate, clean cut to get the rest of this sheet off. And if you look under there you go. What, you gonna make a liar out of me? Okay, now what do you do? Here's what you do. Let me go get my tape measure. Van Gool. My grandmother used to say that all the time.